And hello YouTube, this is Thomas Judge, and today I'm going to be doing the second in my second series of tutorials on making custom comics. This tutorial series is about making custom dust jackets, and this is the second video in that series. This is going to be a little bit unscripted. I'm sort of doing this kind of off the cuff because I haven't really had a great day today, and I got home and I just felt like doing something to just feel a bit productive. So I haven't scripted this, haven't really planned it out, but I thought why not put something together and throw something up. So please be forgiving if this seems like a little bit of a mess or I seem a little bit scatterbrained while I'm talking things through. So with no further ado, let's just jump straight into it here. Now this is GIMP. GIMP is the software that I always say to people they need to install if they want to start making custom comics. Obviously you can use other image manipulation softwares as well. That's what GIMP stands for. It stands for GNU Image Manipulation Program. Yeah, I recommend this because it's free. Alternatively, you can use Adobe or InDesign, and they're all good alternatives. GIMP is a free open source bit of software. You can just download it from the website and install it. If you don't know how to do that, I'm not going to tell you, basically. But what I thought I would do today is, as the first sort of really substantial tutorial in this Dust Jacket series, is I just want to show you how to make composite images, which sounds a bit technical, but when I show you what I mean, it'll be really, really obvious. But the reason I wanted to cover this first as its own standalone video is this is literally the most important, crucial technique in making a dust jacket or a cover for anything really, or even for posters or leaflets or anything. This is the most crucial, important technique you will ever be shown. And so as a result, I wanted to cover it first because we're going to be using this technique in every single subsequent part of this tutorial series. So no further ado, I've actually got my files open here, so let's just zoom right in. So the two files that I'm going to be knocking around with today is this one, which is Batman, drawn by Mike Turner. It's one of the Mike Turner variant covers during the Identity Crisis event. And the other one I'm going to be messing around is this one, which is an issue of Uncanny X-Men. Cool. Okay, so in terms of this, what I've decided to do is I want to get that logo, which says Uncanny X-Men. I want to have that entire logo, but I want to get rid of everything else. I want to have just the logo saying Uncanny X-Men. And I want it here at the top. So it's Uncanny X-Men on a Batman cover. Now I know, absolutely, I am certain someone in the chat, someone in the comments is going to just be like, oh, you can't have an X-Men logo with Batman, oh, what are you doing, this is a rubbish dust jacket. This isn't a real dust jacket, this is something I'm doing just to show you guys a particular technique. And I thought if I did like a Marvel DC thing, then you'll know I'm actually making something that doesn't exist, just to give you an example. But this is just all figurative. And I'm not even going to save it at the end of this video because I don't need it for anything. In terms of where I got these images from, I got them from the internet. I did an image search. Actually, I think I got, this one I got from Comixology, is one of the covers there, and this one I got from an image search. So okay, let's have a look at the image here. We've got Batman. Already we've got some black borders on the side. I don't want the black borders. So first thing I'm going to do, I'll talk you through it bit by bit. This is all kind of a live way. So I'll talk you through tools, selection tools, rectangle select. Awesome. Draw my rectangle there. It doesn't really matter how tidy it is. And then I'm going to zoom in. So the top is going to be fine. Obvio. So I'll move in here and I'll drag this in and I'll drag it into, yeah, exactly there is perfect. Let's look at the other side. And, oh, hang on. If I drag it in there. And then the top and bottom doesn't matter. You have to line it up perfectly. As long as it's over the image, it means it will crop the image. So then from that, I go image, crop to selection. Boom. There we are. Nice and clean. I could have had that box anyway I wanted it, but I just wanted to get rid of the black. Right, cool. So that's the image. That's the background that I want to put the text on. And it happens to be text, but I could equally decide I want to put something else on there, like someone's face or the Marvel logo. But for now, we're going to do just the Uncanny X-Men text. We're messing around with other stuff in the other videos in this series. So let's have a look at this. Well, I don't want most of this, do I? Right, so tools, selection tools, rectangle select. That's fine. I'm not trying to do it precisely. Crop to selection. Alright, let's get this up. Do you know what? I'll do that again. The reason I'm doing this a couple of times is for the step that I'm going to do, sometimes the tool that I use isn't as smart as it's meant to be, and it will leave random bits floating around. It can just be a little bit annoying and take a couple more minutes to clean it. Okay, cool. So what we have here is that's the logo that I want, and I've got this random stuff around here which I'm trying to, I want to get rid of. But how do I do that? So I'll show you now, and this is the most absolute critical thing you need to do. You go to Layer, you go to Transparency, and then you go to that option there. So I'll show you again. Layer, Transparency, Add Alpha Channel. Ta-da! Look exactly the same. But that is a really critical step for what I'm going to do next. So what I'm going to do here is, from the tools here on the side, I'm going to pick Fuzzy Select, which is basically kind of like a smart click thing. And if I select this, it's basically going to select the whole region which doesn't match sort of that color palette. So I've selected that. If I press the delete button, ta-da! It's deleted all that. So all this stuff is now going to be see-through, which is awesome. So what do I want to do next? Well, I still don't want all these people's heads and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the eraser. So the eraser tool is here. It says eraser tool, erase to background. And I've got that here, and you'll see it's a tiny little, there you are, small little square. I'm going to make it a bit bigger. So I moved it up to 110. So the size is, well, it's here where it says size, basically. So I'll move it to that. Let's zoom in a bit. And, why is it not doing this? Hang on. Select, none. Yeah. So what I just did then, sorry, I should probably talk you through this, is I always find it a bit of a nightmare sorting out stuff like layers and making sure the image is flat and that I'm deleting the right section of it. There's two ways to sort that out. One is to mess around with the layers here, which is always complicated. There's quite a few YouTube channels out that explain how that works. Or you can do what I just did, which was select and then select none. So the best way to look at it is that when you put a transparency layer in, and this grey checked pattern here is a transparency layer, which means that there's no digital information or colour or picture or anything contained there. To put that in, what you need to do is you need to kind of view it as having separate layers. Imagine you've got this whole image on tracing paper, and you've got this whole image above an image beneath it, and then whatever you sort of take off here, you see as transparent. So it's basically like having lots of different layers on tracing paper all put together. Just while I just sort of chat to you, I'll just clear up a lot of this nonsense. So that's all this. You can really get into this in like a lot of detail when it comes to tidying stuff up, which I'm not going to do. Let's see where we are. You know, I'm concerned I didn't pick a very good cover for this. That's now my concern. I tried to pick a cover where it has X-Men written really clear. And I thought this one was that, but I suspect it's not. Okay, what the hell. Anyway, I'm going to give it a try. And then, if not, I'll just clean it up and mess around with it a bit. But hey, you were warned this was going to be a bit of a messy video. So from here, let's go to select all, edit, copy. Cool, so I've copied this image. So if I go to the Batman image, okay, I'm going to paste it in. Now, in theory, I actually didn't check the JPEG images beforehand. In theory, X-Men should be like a normal size here against this picture. But I haven't checked it. So let's find out what it looks like. Let's paste. Okay. Okay. Not too far off. Okay, so it's still too big, obviously. So what I need to do now is I need to change the size of it. So you see this image here, it says scale tool. So if I scale it and click it, it brings up this cage around it. So I'll show you now. You see this bit here? This chain link isn't clicked. What that means that if I want to, I can deform this image. I can squish it. I can like do all sorts of stuff to it. I don't want to do that. So let's reset it. I want it to stay the same. I want the height and width ratio to stay the same. So I'm going to click on this and it links that chain. So that means that no matter what I do, it scales, which is awesome. So I'll scale that. That looks good. And then, oh sorry, I've moved here. You see this thing that looks like just like a cross with an arrow on each part of the cross? That is the move tool. So once that's got, see, hang on. You You see here it says move layer selections and other groups. This is what I mean about layer control. You need to make sure that you're on top of that. So I'm on the layer tool there. I'm going to grab it, there's a click and drag. I'm going to put it up there. Ta-da! Okay, and then select all, select none. Okay. So this is what it looks like, basically. I'm not really happy with this because that grey is obviously a bit of a mess. Not cool. Not cool. Okay. So in terms of that, I've clicked on that. Edit. Cut. Right. Let's back to the drawing board, or sort of the drawing board. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to tidy this up. Like I said, I did try to find the tidiest example of the X-Men logo, but actually X-Men stuff from this era was the logos were kind of a pretty cool design. I know everyone's banging on now about how Dawn of X looks amazing and so on, but the logos back from this day, which was kind of the Joss Whedon era, give or take, I think is where this particular issue is from. Like, they were pretty good, man. I like them. They're all very kinetic and kind of built into the artwork of the particular image. So, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to try, just to be lazy, I'm going to try again using the continuous select tool. Now that I've cleaned up a lot of the stuff that wasn't connected to it. And let's see what it gets. Okay, it's not cleaning up a huge amount. Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's got a fair bit there. Alright, let's go. So what the continuous collect tool does is it basically finds all the pixels of a particular colour that are touching other pixels of that colour. Which is actually kind of a cool feature. It basically means you can do a lot of smart deletion without having to mess around too much. So let's have a look at this. So as you can see here, I'm clicking on the darker areas and then I'm deleting them. And then I'm clicking on the lighter areas and then I'm deleting those as well. This is going to be a time-consuming process, which I'm not massively keen on doing today. I'll be honest, this is the sort of thing that takes up a lot of the time for a lot of the work on these custom dust jackets and these custom bits and pieces. It tends to be this kind of really fiddly data cleansing and data detailing work. So let's see. Okay. So you see here what I'm doing? You know, I'm gonna do a pretty good job today, but I'm still gonna limit the amount of time I spend on this because it's gonna bore the hell out of everyone. So I'm gonna have a bit of a clean of this, but whilst I do, I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna just chat to you guys for a bit because maybe you're interested. So what am I doing at the moment? Well, at the moment I am doing a tutorial video on how to make custom dust jackets, which is going to be this. Hopefully it'll be helpful. People seem quite interested in the last one, which is surprising. And more people watched the last one than watched the finale of my new 52 reading order videos. God damn you. But you did, so obviously people are interested in this, which is cool. I'm always happy to show people how this works. I always get kind of baffled that people haven't worked out how to do this themselves. I'm always kind of like, just go on YouTube and look at it. And then I remind myself that actually it took me literally like 2 years to learn how to do this. And I had no one showing me, and it took me forever, and it was kind of a labour of love. So I don't really think it's fair for me to think that about when other people do it. But it's kind of like a knee-jerk reaction, and I always have to stop myself. Okay, so you see that's cleaned up a lot of it, guys. Where are we? But I'm going to continue a bit more. Okay, just tidy it up. Here we are. Yeah, so this is the sort of thing that I know. Ooh, that's way too big. So this is the sort of thing that I normally do just in the evenings while I'm listening to podcasts or listen to select all, select none. There we are. That's just what I do to flatten the image so I can do a bit of tidying up. Select all, then select none. Yeah, like I say, this is the sort of thing I do in the evenings when I'm tidying up my images. I can just be on the phone to a friend, or I can be like watching or listen to a podcast. I don't really watch Netflix while I do stuff because I always find I need to concentrate a lot on Netflix, especially because most of the shows I watch tend to be comic book related, like Daredevil and things like that, and so they're quite visually sumptuous, and I feel it's kind of insulting to the people that made it to not like really dedicate my time to it. Like, you know, I mean, they spent a lot of time putting together some of the visuals for that, and I really want to take it in. So this is something I tend to do in my dead time. It does take ages. For those of you that have asked in the past, yeah, this is what I have to do when I do my custom prints. I have to go through every single page and tidy it up like this. which is just a pain in the ass, to be honest. It takes ages. It takes absolutely ages. But it does mean you can have exactly what you want, however you want it, which is always good. This is sort of, I'm trying to do a straight line here, and this is going to take a steady hand. If you do a lot of this yourself, one way to do this, which I've done in the past, is you can set up a drawing tablet. So if you have a touchscreen sort of drawing board, like a lot of artists use for digital art and stuff, they cost about, I don't know, £50, £60, but it's really helpful for this side of doing things. Now I'm doing it a bit more detail than I planned, but I'm not gonna do it in a super huge amount of detail. I have in the past literally gone in, and I'll show you now. I've literally gone in and I've done this pixel by pixel to tidy it up. And you see here, it's like it takes a little while. You have to do every single pixel individually, and so I mean that's what I've done in the past when I wanted to get it just perfect for a print or for something like that. I'm not going to do that here, guys. Don't take it personally, but that just is not going to happen. So you see here, sorry, I've clicked to my fuzzy select tool. I keep on forgetting to tell you this. I've clicked to my fuzzy select now because that'll hopefully help me cheat a little bit. Yeah. So anyways, I hope you guys find this useful. As always, pop in questions and stuff. Let me know on Twitter what you think if you're on Twitter. Or just if you've got any ideas for the channel or things you want to see, let me know. Some people have asked about library tours. I'm pretty skeptical of whether or not I should do a library tour because everyone's got library tours. And I don't really know if there's any interest or any validity in me doing something that everyone else has on the internet. Oh, there's a little bit there. You see how this is a painstaking process? Okay. Looking a fair bit cleaner. I'm just going to erase this little bit here, whatever this is. I think that's a smudge on my screen. Ha! Right, okay. Just continue tidying this up. What else is there to talk to you guys about? Oh, I'm dropping some more videos next week. I've just finished a series of 6, which is a sort of a reading order overview of the Valiant universe. Don't worry, it's not going to be anything like my New 52 stuff. It's going to be quite different to that. Just because the Valiant universe is quite different. And I'm just kind of talking about the deluxe hardcover editions and how they work and the best way to collect them and stuff like that. Okay, cleaning up just a bit of this grey here. So one of the things you've got to be conscious of when you do this is you need to make sure that the image that you've got is going to be relatively easy to clean. Like I say, I picked an X-Men image which I thought was going to be pretty clean and easy, but it hasn't been. Alright, I'm going to clean up this last bit here, and then I am calling it a day. Almost a day. Okay. Painstaking stuff, guys. Right. Okay. Right. Let's leave it there. We've had about as much fun as we're going to have with this. So that looks nice and clean. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go select all, edit, copy. I'll go back to my Batman image. So what GIMP does is it ties up all your files up here, so you can have like 30 files open and they all just list up here. So I've selected it. I've copied it. I'm going to Batman and I'm going to edit, paste the content of the clipboard. Kablam. Alright, so again, remember the next thing, this is too big, so I'm going to go to the scale tool. Scale the layer selection or path. Yes, indeed I will. Touch it here. Always make sure that chain there is linked, because I don't want to deform it. I mean, you know what, I'll deform it later and I'll show you, but right now I'll just do it like this. Scale, that seems good. I'm going to go to the move tool, which is this cross. Click the move tool. And I'm going to move it up here. Okay, it's still a bit big, so I'm going to scale it again. Back to the scale tool. Click on it. Don't want it cutting into his head, or in fact any of these pictures. So I'll scale it there. And then back to the move tool again, and then I will jiggle it around. Sod it, I'll put it there. Okay, guys. Don't act like you're not impressed. Let's see, is there anything else I want to do here? Right. Sorry, the reason I just did that. Sorry, I should have shown you again. The reason I just went into tools and then selection tools and rectangle select and all this stuff, was just to anchor that floating layer onto the image so it doesn't have that little shimmering line around it. So if I go to edit, it says I can undo the anchor floating selection. But I'll do that in a second. So guys, this is how it looks. And just from 10 minutes of tidying it up, I mean, that looks pretty clean. You have to admit, you have to zoom in pretty far to find a problem with it. That looks pretty clean, ladies and gentlemen. So what we have there is Uncanny X-Men as a title on top of a Batman image. You're welcome. So this is the sort of thing that you need to know to do if you're going to make a dust jacket. I mean, this is super simple. I've got a logo from one thing, I've got an image I like. But if, for example, you're going to make a dust jacket like I did for, my Catwoman. For my Catwoman, which is a paperback from the New 52, I had it made into a hardcover. I designed a dust jacket, got an image, got a logo, cleaned it all up, messed around with it, did various things. And there's a variety of different permutations you can try. So just to give you an idea, hopefully you're not bored, just to give you an idea, I'm going to go to edit, I'm going to undo the floating selection, so there it is. Let's try something different. I am going to go to, so here is scale, but instead I'm going to go to rotate. So rotate means that if I click on it, I now have an option to rotate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it by 90 degrees. Okay, I am not going to do that. Hang on, reset. I'm going to rotate it by 270 degrees. It's all good, it's all a learning process. Shit, I'm definitely not going to do that. That's 180. Right, rotate. Okay, I'll do it again. Now if I do it by 90 degrees. I don't think I've ever done this before. Right, here we are. So I'm doing it this way. And then rotate that. Great. So I've now got it on its side. I know it looks rubbish. It's just to show you that what can be done. So if I've got it on its side, let's look at moving it. I'll move it down here. Where there's a little bit of empty space. That works. But I want to make it a bit smaller. So back to the scale tool. Click on it. And I will make it a little bit smaller here. But actually, what I'll do is I'll unlink the chain. Remember I said never to do that? We'll never do it unless you want to. So in this case, I'm going to unlink the chain. And I'm going to make it a fair bit narrower. But I'm going to make it a little bit longer. And then I'll scale that. And what we have there is X-Men as a logo with Batman sort of looking down and looking very depressed. Which you probably would do if Batman saw that. He'd be like, what is this? Yeah, and again, select all, select none. No, hang on, scale. Sorry, I should have scaled it. I'm just messing around here. Select all, select none. Oh, how do I get rid of that? I need to anchor the... I'm not very good at this, guys. So anyway, right, there it is. So the floating selection has now been anchored. I did the usual thing I do, which is tools, rectangle select, click anywhere, and then it anchors the selection. I am not very good at using GIMP. I don't pretend to be very good at using GIMP. I am a novice who learned off YouTube. This is just how I make my stuff. So there's your image. If you have a look at the image, best way to get an idea of what your image actually is, go to the scale button. This is the pixel size, that's the resolution. If you want a better resolution, if you want various things, then this is basically where you mess around with stuff. But I'll talk about scaling images and resolution of images in a later video, if anyone's still interested. So there we have it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you start to put a dust jacket together. In this video, what I've done is put one image on top of another image. I know the first image is words. It's obviously X-Men. And I get that, but what I would stress to you is don't get confused by that. Like, you can literally anchor anything onto anything. So I could, if I wanted to, have put a picture of I don't know, the Phoenix from X-Men. I could have put that specifically on top of Batman or sitting next to Superman or whatever. So you can just mix and match whatever you want. You're not tied into comic covers that already exist. You literally get any image of anything. You can put your face on top of Batman's if you want. So although this seemed like quite a straightforward thing and it wasn't that complicated, it took me a while to learn how to do it. What I would strongly recommend is before the next video, which will drop in probably a couple of weeks, depending on my mood, practice this. Get GIMP, download it, install it, get a couple of images, ideally get a couple of comic book covers, and then just mess around with combining them. I'd love to see what you guys do. Please send me some versions of what you've done or some drafts on Twitter. You can always just send me an image on that. And just sort of mess around with it. I mean, you'll see, one, how easy it is, and two, how kind of fiddly it can be as well. And there's nothing as a substitute for learning than trying it yourself. So what we're going to do in the next videos is we're going to be messing around with like how you actually make your own font. So let's say I wanted the specific words saying something like Batman very upset. Like, where would I get that text? How would I get that text? How would I get that text on this image? What would I do with it? All that sort of stuff. There's a whole bunch of other bits and pieces you can do. But this technique here that we've talked about, compositing a couple of different images together, which you can do with 2 images, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't matter. That is the most crucial single thing you need to know. So please try it before the next video. Yeah, like I said, the next set of videos that are going to drop probably next week is a set of Valiant videos and just polishing off. After that, I will get on with throwing together another tutorial video. If you've got any questions or anything you want me to go over, let me know and I'll just do a video on that. I haven't made the tutorial ones in advance. And I hope that helps, guys. I hope this wasn't too much of a rambling, slow video. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. And please, if you can support the channel by heading over to nogodsorkings.com or picking up the book No Gods or Kings from Amazon, that would be amazing. It really supports the channel. Until next time, guys, stay classy.